All right. My clock's showing 3:02, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome you to the SleepSat training workshop. My name is Heath. I handle the support line here at Patient Safety. And today we'll be going over the resources available to you as a patient safety customer. We'll be going over the use of the SAT Screen Connection Center in tandem with the SleepSat High Resolution Pulse Oximeter. And lastly, we'll be going over some of the best practices for the SAT Screen Connection Center and the SleepSat. To get started, I'd like to show the resources available to you as a patient safety customer. To get to that, we'll be going to our website on the resources page. If I can get, there we go. At the top of the resources page are our SleepSat how-to videos, which includes getting to know your SleepSat, the installation setup and use of the connection center, a patient instruction video, which we will be watching together here in a few moments, some report overviews, and a SAT Cloud portal overview as well. If we scroll down, we see the video links here as well. We also have annotated and other report information here. Next, we have all of the publications that we've written in or been written about in. And lastly, here at the bottom, we have the guides, manuals, FAQs, and troubleshooting for both devices that we support. So for whichever device you have in your office, I would recommend reading through this information. It can be helpful for not only just general use of the device, but if any behavior comes up that you've not seen before, that answer most likely can be found in this bottom documentation. To quickly move on, I'd like to go over the use of the SleepSat device with the connection center. As you can see, I do not have the connection center open yet, and that's perfect. Before you go to download, we do recommend charging the SleepSat device for 1 hour. After charging it for an hour, and mine already is, we're going to hold down the left power button until the device says probe off. It'll show 2 screens, the second being probe off. Once it says probe off, go ahead and grab your cable and plug the device into your computer. You should have just heard that connection ding. But now that it's connected, I'll go back to my desktop and I'll double click the connection center to open it. As you can see, it is currently authenticating. And it'll take a few moments because some of my bandwidth is being taken up by Zoom. But once the connection center is open, it's immediately going to start connecting to the SleepSat. How that looks is the SleepSat will display numbers counting down. Where it counts down from is depending on how much data is on the device. This device does not have much data on it. I'm going to change that. And as you can see, when it first connected, because these are the default values, it's not showing anything because we're currently in show sleep studies that match criteria. These criteria are for each sleep study, recordings must have been within 200 minutes of each other and have a total duration between 2 hours and 24 hours. As you just saw me do, this criteria section is editable. But in the situation that you don't see any report come up when it finishes connecting, when the SleepSat finishes connecting, the first thing I'd recommend that you do is change this selection from show sleep studies that match criteria to show all recordings. As you can see, I have an hour-long recording on this device. Not only will this section show you everything that's on the device, and in this situation, a short recording, it'll also show you if the patient had a bad fitment with the probe or if they didn't record anything at all, which does happen. But we can either download this report from Show All Recordings, or what I would recommend doing is just coming back here and editing this to 201, and then we can see that 1 hour recording coming up. To download this recording, what we're going to do is enter first name. This is Bill, last name Bob. And Bill Bob was born luckily today, making it really easy. Those are the 3 pieces of information that are required to download a report: first name, last name, and birth date. Next, you'll confirm that that the report is selected, and then you're going to hit Start Downloads. Once Start Downloads is selected, it's going to start going through the process of uploading it to our servers and processing that data. You'll notice when I get my PDF, I'm just going to close it out immediately. Whenever a report is downloaded using the Connection Center, that report and the data behind it is automatically saved to our SatCloud web portal, making it accessible not only from the computer that you just downloaded on, but any other computer in your office, or let's say you'd like to download it from an iPad. That's possible. As you can see, I got the report, I closed it out. But now that we have the report off of this device, I'd like to get it ready for the next patient. To do that, I'm going to hit Set Device Clock, and then OK. It'll take a couple of seconds. 3, 2, 1. And here we go. OK, again. And then we're going to hit Clear Device Recordings. We do recommend sending out the devices to each patient with no data on them. So we'll do that by hitting Clear Device Recordings. And because this is my demo device, I'm just going to hit Cancel, but you'll hit OK and then OK again when it's complete. Just to review that process again, to download a report, you'll enter the patient's first name, last name, and their birth date. Make sure that the report you would like to download is checked, and then hit Start Downloads. All right, to view that report that we just downloaded, we're going to select View All Reports. That'll bring us to either a login screen or the patient section of the SatCloud web portal. And it looks like I used the wrong, yep. This is my demo account and I downloaded to a different account. So we're not going to see Bill Bob here. I do apologize on that mistake. But this is my demonstration account. And we can see that we do have 4 patients already downloaded here. You can scroll through. If you have more than one page of patients, you can tab through using these arrows. You can also search using first name or last name and then hitting the search function. I'd like to go into this Charlie Smith patient profile because we have a new exciting feature that I'd like to show you. And that's this alert function. These new alerts are, the defaults are evidence-based and show mild, moderate, and high risk. And that is denoted by the different colored triangles that you'll see. On this Charlie Smith patient profile, we see an example of mild in this 7 that's yellow. And then with the filled in red triangle, we see a high risk situation. I'm also going to take the time to show you how to edit these criteria in the case that you'd like to do that. The other section that I'd like to show you while we're here in this patient profile is if you scroll down, here we go, you can see a Multinight Report snapshot. And you can also, using this Multinight PDF button, download a printable version of this. As you can see, this is a great view of how the patient is progressing through treatment. To change the reports that are on this, we'll just come back up here to the reports that are in the patient profile and check and uncheck the compare report checkbox. As you can see, when I first came in here, this newest report, the January 30th report, was not put on the multi-night reporting because the valid recording time, or VRT, was not high enough, and that's why it's marked here in red. To return back to the editable alerts, to make changes to the criteria for those alerts, we're going to come back to Profile. And then here at the bottom of the Profile section, we can make changes to those alerts. If you'd like to see more information or the evidence behind the default alerts, you can come over to the eye bubbles and get that information. If you'd like to make those changes, you can just change like this and then click Save Changes. I don't want to make a change. I'd like to stay at default, so I'm just going with Reset to Default. While we're here in the profile, I would like to highlight that you can make changes to your profile using this blue pencil. You can make changes to your email, your name, the username, and even the password. To change your password, you'll select or enter in new password and the same in confirm, and then select this green save icon. You'll do something similar here in the subscriptions page to add payment information, and that'll be done using this blue plus sign. Another way that you can interact with the account besides profile is here in members. Let's say you'd like your office manager to have their own login, not only to the SAT Cloud web portal, but also to the Connection Center. That can be done through this invite box. Just enter their first name, last name, and their email, and then hit invite user. And then using this drop-down box, you can change what level of permissions they have between member and admin. Admin can make changes that we've gone over today, members cannot. The most recent addition to this navigation panel is our all video tours. If you have any questions about either the SatScreen Connection Center or the SAT Cloud web portal, most likely the answer can be found here. The other way, and the last thing I'd like to highlight here in the SAT Cloud web portal is the reports page. And not only can we see our alerts here again, but you can see that every report that has been downloaded to the account is in chronological order of recording, not upload, recording. And just because we're here, I'd like to tab over to the second page and show you what a moderate risk alert looks like. It's that red outline instead of this red filled in, which displays high risk. This is moderate risk. To quickly move on, I'd like to go over the best practices document that we've prepared. The easiest way to get there is down in the SleepSat FAQ and troubleshooting section of the resources page. And that's just named SleepSat Best Practices. Here to start, we'll go over the charging. We already mentioned that before downloading from the SleepSat, we recommend charging the device for an hour. But prior to sending the device out, we do recommend charging the device using the included wall charger for a minimum 4 hours. While charging the device via your computer can work, wall power is much more consistent and can be a much better practice when passing out the SleepSat. Next, when passing out the SleepSat, we find that the best way to go about doing that is using sleepsat.com/patient video and having the patient watch that with a staff member. That way they can watch the video and then at the end of the video, explain to you what they've seen. And if they have any misunderstandings, you can correct them at that time. I would like to watch that video with you right now. Please note, I have this on a faster than normal playback speed. So the music's going to sound a little bit weird, but we do have a little bit more content to get through. And I'll be pausing it at certain sections just to highlight some points.
An oximetry test has been ordered by your clinician to monitor your oxygen levels and heart rate while you sleep. There is no alarm on the SleepSat device, and it is not intended for real-time monitoring. For best results, remove nail polish. Avoid laying on the hand with the sensor, putting it above your head, or tucking it underneath a pillow. Turn the oximeter on only when you're in bed and ready to fall asleep. If the finger sensor irritates your finger, switch to a different finger. Charge device fully between nights. To begin, take out the patient instructions, finger sensor, and the SleepSat device. Remove your watch and any jewelry you are wearing as well. When you're ready to fall asleep, step 1, plug finger sensor into SleepSat wrist unit. Step 2, put wristband on your non-dominant arm, adjust to fit. Step 3, insert one of your fingers into the sensor. Make sure your finger is inserted completely. Your fingertip should touch the end of the sensor.
right, I would like to highlight this. At the end of the SleepSat probe, you can see this tab my mouse is over. The patient's fingers should be touching that tab, not folding it over, and their fingers should not be just floating in the middle of the probe. That will guarantee the best fitment and the best recording with the probe.
Step 4. Press N on the power button firmly until the display lights up. Lie still for 2 minutes before falling asleep. If the finger sensor comes off or is removed during the night, or if the wrist unit continually flashes Send off, put the sensor back on, making sure your finger is inserted completely. Press the power button firmly until the display lights up.
All right, a more concise way to say that is if during the night your patient wakes up and they do not see the red light coming from the SleepSat probe, have them hold down that power button until they see that red light come back on. That'll be very obvious in a dark room.
Step 5. In the morning, take the oximeter off. The oximeter will turn off automatically after 2 minutes.
To highlight that point, the best way for the patient to take off the SleepSat is to remove the probe from their finger and then remove the wristband from their wrist and take off the entire SleepSat as one unit. Let the SleepSat turn off by itself, and if they need to charge it for the next night, at that time, unplug the probe, plug it back into charge.
If testing multiple nights, return the finger sensor into the carrying case for safe storage and plug the SleepSat into the USB charger. Charge the SleepSat for 4 to 6 hours, then repeat the test the next night. At the scheduled drop-off time, return all equipment as instructed by your healthcare provider. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.
All right, thanks for watching that with me. We do have more videos, and we also have a PDF version of those patient instructions included with the SleepSat, but also available at sleepsat.com/patient video. Next, I'd like to go over the cleaning of the unit. It is imperative that you use an approved cleaner with the device. The highest recommended one would be just 70% isopropyl alcohol wipes or the solution with a cloth. Non-approved cleaners can damage both the probe and the SleepSat wrist unit. A question that we get pretty often is the capacity of the SleepSat. It holds up to 70 hours of data, and depending on how long your patient is sleeping, that has a maximum of 5 to 6 studies before the device needs cleared. Again, we would recommend only sending the device out with no data on it, so it only has one set of patient recordings on it at a time. At the end of this best practices document, we do have some more troubleshooting, and I would recommend reading over that. Just that if you have any situations that come up, most likely they've been addressed here. All right, that is the end of the content that I've prepared. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. And then at the end of this session, I'll be taking the recording and sending it out along with a survey that if you could please answer, just so that we, if there's anything that we didn't go over in enough detail or went over in too much detail, we can know that and we can improve.